if your shower tower is leaking, if there's a constant drip coming out of the nozzle, you can't get it to shut completely off, there's one issue with this cartridge. It's very simple. Again, you'll unscrew the cylinder from the back of the cartridge. And the whole stopping mechanism for the water flow is right here. This piston, get it out. There's a washer right on the top of the piston. That has to sit tightly onto this retainer. That's what shuts the water off, this connection right here. So, if it's constantly running, there's only a couple things that could be wrong. This washer could be worn, or most commonly it's this retainer that is worn. If there's a slight rim on the top of this retainer, that if there's a worn area, that retainer needs to be replaced. In order to do that, use a 5/16 Allen wrench. Goes right into the center of that retainer, and it unscrews out of the back of that cartridge. So I would start with this. This is like a $7 part. There is a small gasket on the back of that retainer that you have to make sure if you replace it that gasket gets put back in on the new retainer, because without the gasket it'll leak as well. So replace that gasket, put the retainer, a new one, if you really want to make sure it's not going to leak. Snug that up. A lot of times what we do as well is you can unscrew this washer screw out of the top of the piston. Okay, comes right out like that. And you can just pop the washer out and flip it over and use the other side. If that original side is worn, then you screw the washer screw back into the top of the piston. Make sure it's snug, because if that is loose and not tight, it can also cause leakage. Then you'll reassemble the cartridge, put the piston back in the cylinder, depress it until that control rod gets in place. Insert a little tool to help hold that piston down into the cylinder as you screw the cylinder back onto the back of the cartridge. That should take care of any leak problems where water's not shutting off or is continuously running.